All right, welcome to Smokey Reacts. I'm your boy Journalist, and on this one, we are here to check out a video I kind of wanted to check out. If you've watched the channel, you kind of know I'm into cooking. So this is Chef Taste Pretentious ingredients. So I wanted to kind of see what ingredients we might run across if I've ever seen or used any of these, and then also just, I don't know, see who's out there. So thank you to anybody that watches these. Thank you very much. If you could, please hit that like, subscribe. Patreon's in the description, and let's get into this one and see what we got.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Pretentious Ingredients episode.
Now today is a very special day because we have both a normal and a chef in the hot seats, which means we get all perspectives.
Double whammy.
All right boys, number one, lift the cloche.
Please.
No, I feel like you're Prince of
Fine.
Pretentious.
I've taken that title and I'm proud
Purple
of it.
potatoes?
Oh, straight off.
Purple potatoes. I've seen these before.
I think what I love
They're like fingerling
about
potatoes.
exploring new spuds is that we begin to kind of expand our repertoire. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of species of spud from the Andes, and we only cook with about 4 or 5 of them. These are different.
You're backing yourself on potatoes then?
Yep.
Well boys, you're absolutely right. These are potatoes, but these are vitellotte potatoes. Originally from Peru and Bolivia, they've been cultivated in France since the 1850s as a gourmet delicacy. In Germany, they're also known as truffle potato.
All of what you just said was new to me apart from the purple potato bit.
Yeah, I'd have said the same.
Vitellotte I've never heard of, but the idea of cultivating new potatoes in the late 1800s,
Something you used to do.
very familiar territory, especially in France. I remember halfway up the Andes, along an Inca trail, a community of people who were there to look after
I've not seen those
ancient
potatoes.
varieties of potato.
These are very rare and therefore highly valued potatoes, combined with their amazing taste and vibrant colour, and their limited supply is why they're being featured on this particular format. Question is, should we taste some?
It's not potato coloured.
No, far from it. That is not what I was expecting.
What I've been told by the food team is that they prepared you a purple potato salad with creme fraiche.
Nice. It's a cross between waxy and fluffy. So some of the edges are a little bit fluffy, but it's mostly a waxy potato.
Are you tasting any difference to a normal potato?
It's confusing me on what I'm tasting. I'm almost looking to taste the colour, but I can't find it.
I know what you mean. You're expecting something different. If I ate this with my eyes closed, I'd say that is a deliciously seasoned potato salad. It's cold, and it is
I've never in my life ever seen a potato salad with like this. This is just mad. Just a chopped chunk of potato and some tender greens. Like, what is
combination
this?
of textures from some
Yeah.
that's mashed just enough to bind it, some still chunky, waxy, a little bit floury. It's kind of a combination of the two. It's kind of got Jersey Royal vibes. In its like, you know when you cook them, you steam them and they taste buttery before you put the butter on.
It's feels fresh, feels light for a pile of potato.
And maybe the colour lends to that
Maybe,
because
yeah.
it kind of looks almost mythical.
Does anything about these potatoes shout out to you as being pretentious?
Only comparison I have to these are things like heritage tomatoes. In a salad, look amazing. They taste and smell extra tomatoey because they're on the vine and they're super fresh. And they're not pretentious. And I don't think this is either.
How much do you think we paid for a 2-kilogram bag of vitellotte potatoes?
150 quid.
I mean, I reckon for 2 kilos of these, we're thinking about their rarity, the fact they've almost been cultivated back from the past. I would say you could happily pay £7 for it.
I'll go a little bit lower and go like 6.
£12.95.
So
Oh, wow, I'm way off.
Is
You
that
get
how
the
we're
point,
doing
Evans. Yeah,
What?
fine. We've just
That potato can't be that rare then. If I could still get it for less than the 20, no. I thought this was going to be expensive.
invented that. Well done.
In terms of how they're sourced.
That's definitely not a
that makes
pretentious
sense.
ingredient.
I've recently read a book by a guy called Dan, and it's called Eating to Extinction. And it is all about things, special ingredients or dishes that should be preserved because they're trying to almost create a living museum of food and bring certain traditions back to life. So my £12 is a contribution towards that.
However, I'm going to have to ask you whether vitellotte potatoes, are they pretentious or not?
Are they everyday ingredients? No. Are they pretentious? No more than walking into an art gallery and looking at artwork that's been preserved. So no.
All Barry's thinking.
All that aside, at the end of the day, it tastes like potato, and you're paying a lot of money for a purple one. Pretentious.
Ooh, and that's why we have a
Okay.
chef and a
You're
Okay.
allowed to think that. You're wrong, but you're allowed to think it.
Let's move on to number 2. We're here now. Hello.
Number 2, lift the cloche. We're back to our favourite unidentifiable powders in a clear glass bowl.
It looks like a cross between a spice mix, sugar, and bee pollen.
That's what it looks like. What does it smell like?
Just like Biscoff. Very, very yeasty.
Very salty. It is miso crumb. That sounds pretentious, but it would be on a menu.
It reminds me of caramelised white chocolate, that bitterness from that, but with miso.
If I had a perfectly baked piece of white fish, I would want to sprinkle that on top and it would be absolutely delicious.
This is Nobu's miso powder. So Japanese chef
I've not had a lot of
Nobuyuki
miso, so I
Matsuhisa,
would not know.
chef and restaurateur known for Japanese and Peruvian cuisines done as fusion. Well, they reckon that it enrich the savoury flavours of meat and fish and makes it
This
easy
for
to
sure
take
is that
everyday dinners to the next level.
MSG.
I like it on cheese and toast.
Yeah, that's
Yes, yeah.
And there's the line. It takes a while because it starts salty and you've got to wait for it to literally hydrate in your mouth and you're like, ooh, miso paste.
My favourite thing that I've learned about miso recently is that it burns very easily. So you can't cook with it, don't marinate in it, don't cook in it, but use it later towards the end of the cooking
You
process.
do burn most things easily.
This is the signature Nobu seasoning. It actually made its way into the first Nobu cookbook all of those years ago and has been used ever since.
I have no idea who
So, Ebbers,
Nobu
you
is.
said this was white miso. It's actually a mixture of red and white miso. It's been oven dried and then blitzed to a powder. So the red miso brings the hearty, strong umami flavours, whilst the white is light and sweet. Would you like to taste it on something?
That looks tidy.
Salmon sashimi, chives, garlic crisps, extra virgin olive oil, Nobu miso powder.
You've got that fresh fattiness of the salmon, and then you've got the peppery fattiness of the olive oil. Not greasy, but it's got that fruitiness to it. And then you go in for the miso, which is just umami and wraps it round in like a big, cosy Japanese blanket.
Yeah. Fresh, zingy, crunchy, bit slimy. It adds an earthiness to the dish. Like, it's one of those things that we've used miso a lot recently in our psychic recipes, and now I can't stop using it.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's the perfect normal shortcut, I find, which is a bit of that in the right place at the right time, and it makes you cook better than you can.
Well, they reckon that this powder, because it's dry, is perfect for a topping to a salad or using as a dry rub on chicken or fish before you grill it.
It loves here the fish fat and
That's just contradictory information. If it burns easily and you're not supposed to marinate in it, which then would be cooked later because it'll burn, then how am I supposed to use it in a rub and use it on the grill? It's going to burn there too. That's contradictory information. That doesn't really work. However, regardless of that tip, if I was to use this stuff, I for sure would use it as a rub and in a marinade and then just not burn my food. But that's just me, though. I've never actually worked with this product before, so I couldn't particularly actually tell you. But yeah, that's exactly how I would use it, though. In a marinade and actually, like he's saying, as a rub. It would be probably really, really good on an open wood grill. Buddy!
the unsaturated fat of the olive oil, but dairy fat, we know that miso and butter work nicely. It would also work on mash.
It's a dream. It is the match made in heaven.
Again, dairy fat, ice cream, panna cotta, Greek yogurt, it would lend itself to that as well. What I do think is really interesting is recently we've been learning a lot more about fermentation from Dr. Johnny Dre, and the idea that you could ferment and make misos from other things other than soybeans. We made our own with chickpeas at one point. Could you make that paste, then dehydrate it, then crack it in a food processor to a crumb, and suddenly take your cooking up there with something that's relatively easy in principle, but very difficult to perfect.
Which leads us onto price. How much do you think we paid for the Nobu miso powder?
£5.50.
And I think for that pot, without the Nobu, I think I'd agree. But I think with the added brand and trust that comes with that, I would go £7.50.
We bought the Nobu miso powder for £19.99.
Jesus Christ.
20 quid. Okay,
20 quid
that's a
for
lot
some
more
seasoning?
expensive, but I was still closest.
But if it take it up, though, it might be worth it. It really might be worth it.
I think you could elevate a lot of more affordable ingredients and therefore spend the money on that. It is a lot, but I can see it.
It's a fantastic product, but spending £19 on a pot of seasoning just seems, for me, for everyday cooking, a step too far. For a special treat, maybe.
Well, pretentious or not,
It is not a pretentious idea. I think it's genius. But if I saw it on a menu, I think miso crumb is pretentious. I think the price shifts it towards that. I'm going to say yes.
Price is pretentious.
Pretentious.
I agree, pretentious.
It's one that I say 100% pretentious, and I love it for every centimetre of its pretentiousness.
yeah, I agree.
Boys, we're going to mix things up slightly here.
Please do.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about this product that's going to fill those glasses. So this product, founded 10 years ago by 3 visionaries from Chile, from the Patagonia region, which is South America. Only 3,600 bottles produced a year.
Jesus, that's such a small quantity.
He's changed the game a lot. Where's the cloche?
Boys, this is Apsu Premium Single Origin Water.
Okay, right.
We're on board.
We're good, we're good, we're good.
This is by a company called Apsu. The mission of the company focuses on harvesting exclusive waters in Patagonia in small volume production, doing it in an environmentally friendly way. The harvesting not only is so difficult that they can't use traditional bottling methods, so they had to develop technology to identify these glacial springs, and they also use profits to raise funds to support social projects in Chile. The source for the water is glacier water from Gran Campo Nevado in sub-Antarctic Chilean Patagonia. We've spoken about some details. Let's give it a try. Now, before you do anything, would you like to learn how to taste water? So traditionally when you taste water, you actually taste it at room temperature. However, the particular source of these in Patagonia is around 4 degrees. So smell, taste, wash it around your mouth and then swallow.
Do you ever have that thing where you know when you freeze ice tap water and you put it into ice cube trays, then just like suck on an ice cube? It has a kind of like freezer taste to it, doesn't it?
You know what, I have closed my mind a little bit, because there's like, water is the most precious thing in the world next to light. And it tastes delicious. So I'm so thankful to be able to get it out of my tap, purify it and have it at home. I don't want it flown half around the world for me, no matter how beautiful it might taste.
I kind of agree with you, and I think what is genius here is that they have marketed it to a niche demographic who are prepared to pay silly amounts of money for it, I presume, and some of that money is then taken and put back into projects that are helping support a very changing world. So I genuinely do think water tastes different. If you have water at home that you're used to, if you go on holiday to another...
What? I love water. I love water a whole lot. Like, even the water here in Edinburgh tastes different than the water in Glasgow. Like, water tastes different everywhere. The water in LA is different than in Knoxville. Like, it's mad. It's mad. Like, it's been decades since I've been able to drink from the tap. But, like, living in Edinburgh, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I could drink from the tap, and then I drank the tap, I was like, oh, my God, this water tastes delicious. Drinking the water here in Scotland, that's probably one of my favorite things. I really wonder what this water tastes like. I really do.
The part of the country, go up to the Midlands, taste it, have one from London, they will taste different. Like wine, like coffee, like...
Water in London was terrible. Terrible.
It has a terroir attached to it. It tastes of the geology of the region.
Final thing to note is that it pairs really well with food. An awesome pairing is chocolate. So there you have some 85% chocolate.
That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible.
So that is very, very dry, bitter, but fruity. Single origin, 85%. Very slow melt.
No, I don't feel like it's
What do you
happening for
expect
Barry.
me to say?
I just want to know, that's all. All we're doing is asking a question today. But it felt like you decided before you even tried.
I'm drinking it. I'm trying to taste anything other than just fresh, lovely water.
Water sommeliers has been a thing for a couple of years now. I remember reading about it, and I remember sitting on Barry's
I
side
think that
of the
shit is
fence back
hilarious.
then and thinking that is just ridiculous. But the more I read about it and the more I understood it, I realised it is no different to talking about different salts, different chocolates, different tea. It is all about the local area, the quite literally terroir of a product, but it tastes yummy.
How much do you think I paid for that one bottle?
I think that bottle of water
Had to be
is
north of
probably
100 quid.
something extortionate like £40
4-0.
to justify.
£40 on a run of only 3,200 bottles. That's not enough money. That's not enough money. It's got to be north of 100.
All of the pretentiousness we've just heard.
I need to get a point here. £41.
Think of the embossing.
This bottle of water cost us €140,
Come on now. Come on.
which comes out at about £120.
I'm logging you out of our account. You can't keep spending money on this
For the
stuff.
sake of conversation and learning, I'm not saying it's a good purchase. I'm just saying, look at what we're experiencing through it. Let's not beat around the bush. Emma's pretentious or not?
Correct, pretentious. I kind of like
Super
it.
pretentious.
I don't like it as a product. I kind of admire what the founders have done.
I feel like I'm obviously coming across quite harshly here. Everything about that is pretentious.
I'll get sign off on the next ones. Number 4.
Lift the cloche on number 4.
Oh, hello. Looks salty, smells sugary. That is both salty and sugary.
It's got the wonderful, soft, flaky
I have no
crunch
idea.
of sea salt.
He's annoyed because he thinks I might be right. I've taken his limelight. It's salt and demerara sugar.
It's not
and
dairy
flex.
mineral sugar.
Who's gonna get it?
What would you want to buy?
Put him down. I mean, put him out of
Something
his misery.
like
Bertie.
licorice.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it is. The black bit, yeah. It's
Licorice
a bit aniseed
sea
at the
salt.
end.
This is licorice salt.
Is this also from somewhere like
Fucking disgusting.
Iceland or Northern Scandi? Is it like a Norwegian fjord meets licorice?
Saltworks Icelandic flake salt is the world's only artisan salt produced with 100% geothermal energy and one of the best flake salts available, making it the flake salt of choice for consumers looking for excellent
harvesting
salt
by hand.
made in an
Just leave it there.
environmentally sustainable way.
And in Iceland, one of the only sweet options because nothing will pollinate in Iceland. So you don't get fresh fruit for sweetness or honey, you just get the sweetness of roots and in particular licorice. I'm a little bit confused by the geothermal salt making process.
He sets them up, you knock them out of the park.
I shall do. Their salt making method is actually based on the 17th century method that was practiced in Reykjanes. The flaky sea salt are handmade pyramid-like crystal salt flakes that contain the flavour and the taste of the Nordic region from which the raw materials used in it derive.
I'd love to see this sprinkled on a bit of Icelandic lamb
Yes, Kush, bring in the dish.
or ice cream.
Yep.
The first part of that was correct. Ice cream.
Right, should we sprinkle?
Salt on my ice cream? What are we
Would
doing?
you ever sprinkle salt on your ice cream at home?
Why are you asking
changed?
us? What's happened to you?
No, I wouldn't. Why would you? People don't do that.
What? I don't know this guy.
I prefer Barry with the long hair. Yep.
I like Barry with the good hair.
I think it's very good.
It's very clever.
It's creamy, it's sweet, it's vanilla-y. The salt and
Vanilla-y.
the licorice does help.
I never liked licorice growing up, but like in this mixture, you get all the best bits of licorice without that aftertaste.
There's no
It's
good
subtle
bits of
enough for us
licorice.
to know that it's
Unless
there.
it's red licorice. Red licorice is delicious.
Dust on my ice cream.
I think the miso I actually prefer in that environment because of the dairy fat.
yeah.
That's really good.
What's interesting for me is how you can take, I'm guessing, bog standard vanilla ice cream, and you can flavour it with a pinch.
I think it does absolutely work with the sweet. I think it would also be really interesting on a number of savoury dishes. It would equally work really nicely with roasted roots. So stick to the things that grow under the ground, but beetroot that has that sweetness, the parsnip.
How much do you think Mike spent of his own holiday money?
I did, because I lost the receipt.
Licorice salt.
£8 worth.
And I imagine it's lined up
12.
with lots of
I'm
other,
going to say £10. I'm going to say £12.
I'm going to say £9.80.
Mike actually paid £8.60.
3-1. Turns out you're not as pretentious as you think.
Is it pretentious?
No, I don't think so. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Oh, really? It's just another salt.
And you can only get it there in the world, and it's a unique flavour.
I actually like it. I think it's a little slice of a country that you can bring home and continue to taste in a number of different ways. Good gift market, not pretentious. I like it.
All right, well, over to you. List down in the comments, 1 to 4, pretentious or not, and tell us why.
And also, please give us a like, because we've got to pay for that water.
Okay, that's it. All right, yeah, that's going to be it for me. Chef Taste, pretentious ingredients. I've not heard of really any of those. Some of them I would use. Other ones I was just intrigued by. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of check this out. You know, 2 birds, 1 stone. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Please do hit that like and subscribe. See you guys on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.
Good golly, Miss Molly! It's news. Some more of it, to be exact, and to be even more exact, some more news about how